fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We have only bits and pieces of information, but what we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky. At the time, they were dependent on solar power, and it was believed that they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. Throughout human history, we have been dependent on machines to survive. Fate, it seems, is not without a sense of irony.
The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. Combined with a form of fusion, the machines had found all the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown. For the longest time, I wouldn't believe it. And then I saw the fields with my own eyes. Watched them liquefy the dead so they could be fed intravenously to the living. And standing there, facing the pure, horrifying precision, I came to realize the obviousness of the truth.
What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out! Let me out! I want out!
Easy, Neo. Easy.
Get this thing. Don't touch me. Get away from me. Stay away from me. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's gonna pop.
Breathe. Just breathe.
An illusion will be created so vast, so large that it escapes their perception. Those who see it will be thought of as insane. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the absolute. We will work together always, and we will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespans short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from our many fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin and mouths. They will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. For all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. They will see our products being used in films, and will grow accustomed to them, and will never know their true effect. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them that it's for their health. We will start early on, when their minds are young. We will target their children with what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their minds and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicines that will make them sicker and cause other diseases for which we will create yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak, so they succumb to us and our power. They will grow depressed, slow and obese. And when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention towards money and material goods, so that they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and games, so that they may never be one with the oneness of all. Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their governments and establish opposites within. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective, but carry out our plan. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure, always, for it is the way. We will keep them separated from the oneness by dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives. We will make them kill each other when it suits us, and tell them what to think and how. We will guide them kindly and gently, letting them think they are guiding themselves. We will incite animosity between them through our factions. When a light shall shine among them, we shall extinguish it by ridicule or death, whichever suits us best. We will make them rip each other's hearts out and kill their own children. We will accomplish this by using hate as our ally, anger as our friend.
An agreement was formed that would mandate the reduction of humans from 6 billion to 800 million by the year 2030. This meant finding a method or methods to wipe out nearly 95% of the population. Solutions were discovered and investigated.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law,
understand, they are safe as long as they are not
the
discovered.
conduct of
That
nations.
is their...
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness.
An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedate.
Message to you, the unvaccinated. Even if I were pollinated and fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for withstanding the greatest pressure I've ever seen. From partners, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and even doctors. People who are capable of such personality, courage, and critical ability are undoubtedly the best part of humanity. They are everywhere, in all ages, levels of education, states, and ideas. They are of a special kind. They are the soldiers that every army of light wants to have in its ranks. They are the parent that every child wants to have, and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are beings above the average of their societies. They are the essence of the people who have, well, built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there, next to you. They look normal, but they are superheroes. They did what others could not. They were the tree that withstood the hurricane of insults, discrimination, and social exclusion. And they did it because they thought they were alone. And they believed that, well, they were the only ones. Banned from their families' tables at Christmas, they never saw anything so cruel. They lost their jobs, let their careers sink, had no more money, but they didn't care. They suffered immeasurable discrimination, denunciation, betrayal, and humiliation, but they kept on going. Never before in humanity has there been such a casting. Now, we all know who are the best on the planet Earth. Men, women, young, old, rich, poor, of all races or religions, the unvaccinated, the chosen of the invisible ark, the only ones who managed to resist when everything collapsed. That's you. You passed an unimaginable test that many of the toughest Marines, commandos, Green Berets, astronauts, and even geniuses could not withstand. You are made of the stuff of the greatest who ever lived. Those heroes born among ordinary men who glow in the dark. Remember, you're the voice, and it's time to make it count.
Control your spirit.
So are you saying religion is poison to the mind? Is religion poison?
It's a trap. It's a trap. Because you don't have nothing in between you and your creator. You have direct connection. Everything in creation, when you come into being, you given at that moment everything you ever needed to thrive and survive. That's it. You didn't have to be taught this shit. You don't have to teach that ant to be a damn ant. That's right. He's pre-coded. Why do we need instructions on how to be who we supposed to be? That's a very serious question. Nothing in nature needs instructions to be what it's supposed to be.
Hey, what's up, family? What is going on? So, man, been a couple of days, man, since I was able to reach out to you guys, and wanted to hit on some things real quick, man. Something that it was a video I was working on before, but I was like, I don't know if people want to hear that, if they ready to hear that, but they need to hear it, needless to say. I said, it's a thing where people need to hear it, man. Regardless, like, you can have your own perspective and what you feel and what you think about what I say, but like I tell y'all, man, a lot of stuff I say, I feel that I'm being led by the Spirit to tell y'all that, led by God, by the source, okay? And some of you may feel the same way, man. But what I wanted to hit on, man, I probably played a little segment in here, man, for y'all to hear. And I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying and get this to be like it's about a black or white thing. It's not a black or white thing as far as the spirituality and the spiritual revelations that people tend to get. It's not so much about a black or white thing. It's more so about a connection thing. Alright, and I play videos with black folks. I play videos with white folks that have the same type of revelations as it pertains to spirituality in our existence and everything. Okay, mainly I probably play more white people than black people when I reference this stuff, because it's probably I don't know, I guess it's just more, I think it's more prevalent in that particular in that particular race, okay? They may speak about it a little more online and stuff like that. All right, so anywho, what I want to say, man, is that, like, you look at you look at this whole situation, this whole world, and how it's set up and everything, man. if you've been following me all this time, we know for sure that there's guidelines, there's different things that have been set in place to guide us, okay, to guide us. And those things have all been created by man, all right? You have to first establish that. Who created this? Who is showing you this or telling you or pushing you in this direction? It's man, all right? I don't care how you slice it, right? And as I was planning to get into the video, why is it that us as a beings, us as a race of beings, we need an instruction booklet? We need an instruction booklet on what we're supposed to do, right? You need an instruction booklet. It's no different, okay? Think about it. The guy was saying, I don't know if I got the clip in here or not, but do the birds need an instruction booklet on how to be a bird? Do the antelope need an instruction booklet on how to be an antelope? You know, do the ants need a booklet on how to be an ant? Why are we, and we're supposed to be this high level intelligent, you know, high intelligent level being? Why is it that we need some type of instruction booklet on what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to be? Okay, why are we being told what to do? Why is the stuff that we're looking at for information as it pertains to who we are and what we are, why is that being written by other people like us? Does that make sense? So some people some people probably not gonna pick up on this much at all, but no, seriously, guys, like we have to look at that. We're being guided, and everything that we've been used or being shown in order to guide us is being touched by man. And like my guy Tupac said back in one of his songs, everything corrupted once man touched it. Everything, from money to religion to the nature, you know what I'm saying, the animals. They didn't did what they didn't made hybrid animals and stuff. They did it. God ain't doing it. They're re-engineering, regenerating stuff. Okay? The knowledge and information that we get, the stuff that we receive, it's all being, you know, hand-picked, given to you for you to regurgitate, just like the medical field, right? Like you can find the different roots and herbs and things that give you like natural immunity, that repair your body, that heal, you know. But that stuff's being pushed to the side, and then you're given something that does opposite. So you think about you being connected to the source, spirituality, being connected and being able to assess life from your own perspective, from your own signals that you're getting. That's being interrupted as well. That's why I showed they've done what they did to what? To calcify your pineal gland. In fact, speaking of calcifying your pineal gland, guys, I want to put this out here before I forget. We are gonna go ahead and do the 25% off for the first 2 weeks of December. We're gonna do 25% off for the first 2 weeks of December. Then the last week of December, the week before, last 2 weeks before the new year, we're gonna just do the 20% off. Okay, we'll do 20% off. So this month we're gonna do that, man, so everybody can have an opportunity to get their body clean and get all the control mechanisms out of your system and everything for the new year. You can start the new year off on a better in better health. Okay, so you'll be able to start the new year off in better health, man, and have a clean system, a fresh start. All right, so we'll call it New You. Okay, New You, like the New Dawn. All right, if you're in those guys, I still use the New Dawn. If you could tell as well, skin is still clean, pure. All the parasites and stuff is out, okay, and toxins or poisons out of my skin. So that's why you might see it kind of glowing and stuff like that. It's just about cleansing your exterior and cleansing your interior, man. You see what you see on the exterior, but you don't see what's going on in the interior, okay? And that's for everybody. People that don't take care of their health, man, you're not gonna see the stuff until it comes to the surface, all right? So it starts from the inside out. Cleanse yourself, man. Get the parasites out. Get the control mechanisms out, man, because that's all they've been doing. That's why we're talking about this stuff right now. Not just control mechanisms inside of you, but also control mechanisms on the outside with the different things that they've implemented to mess up your mind, to keep you from evolving as a spiritual being. So check it out, guys. I just wanted to point this out, man. I was just driving home, man, and I just looked up, and I want y'all to see it. And turn this around. Look at that, man. Look at what they doing. Look at the skies. I just watched these. I watched the jets flying over, dropping and stuff, man. You can see it down there. There's one running right now. Look at that. That stuff is forming into the clouds and stuff, man. Look at it. Where it's sprayed at, it's just stretching out and it turns into the clouds, right? Look at how clear the sky is over there. It ain't touched over there. You don't see none of them flying over that way. Look. So, you have to think about that, man. Look at it a couple different ways. For one, God designed this world, right? So you mean to tell me that we need that? We need that in order to live? Like, we need that stuff in the air in order to live. So we wouldn't be good if it wasn't there. So all these years of evolution, all these years of life on this planet would not exist if that wasn't there. That's what you're telling me. If they didn't do that, we wouldn't be here. So if we didn't need it before, and we evolved as a species, as a race of beings, and people lived longer prior to that stuff, why do we need it now? And the fact that we're getting it now, and there's no oversight, nobody's looking into it and nobody's investigating, what does that tell you? It tells you that this world is controlled and it's designed. And those that are making all this or calling all the shots, they good with that. So what does that tell you about something that, or some folks that would be okay with dropping poisons and toxins on you every day, on human beings every day, and nobody's doing nothing about it, nobody's saying nothing about it. But they want us to go out and breathe that stuff in on a regular basis, knowing that it's messing us up. And then when people die, they say, oh, they died of this, they died of that. Oh, it's natural causes. Yeah, ain't nothing natural about what they spraying in the skies, man. Ain't nothing natural about that. Nothing. Nothing. Look at that, man. Look. I don't know if y'all can see that way over there. I just wanted to point that out, man, because I gotta tell y'all, man, hey, make sure y'all cleaning y'all systems out, man. Getting that stuff out your system. That's all I can say. Because they sure in the hell making sure they put it in there. And they spend a lot of goddamn money to do so. That ain't apparent. And I believe it's the, obviously it's the fibers, but it's also the smart dust, too. So it's a combination of things they putting in, monitoring and also controlling death and health. That's all they doing. It's sickening, man. It's sickening. Yeah, guys. So if you don't know, I might play a little piece in here, man. All right. So yeah, like I was saying, guys, if you don't know, I might play a little piece in here. Where the lady talks about what's in that stuff, man. So you kind of know, but we didn't hit on it, man, from the toxics, the poisons, the fibers, the nanotech, and also the soft metals, man. The soft metals, all that stuff has an effect on us, all of it. Think about the little stuff that they talk about. Oh, you know, watch out, aerosol cans and stuff like that. Don't breathe in magic marker and all this crap, glue and all that stuff back when we was kid, paint, lead. Don't do that stuff. They say that stuff. But then on top of that, while they telling you that, they behind your back spraying that stuff right up on your top every day with no investigation. So let you know what type of world we living in, man. All right. So anyway, like I said, guys, New You, that's NEWU. Okay, New You. We doing that 25% off for the first 2 weeks, so likely up until, we'll say, about the 20th. We'll go to the 20th on the 25% off, and then after that, going into January 1st, we'll do 20% off. Okay, so if you haven't had an opportunity, man, to get you any type of cleansing, detoxing going on, man, we're gonna have that for you. Now, back to the point, man. We as beings, man, God created us in the likeness of Him. He gave us the stuff that we need in order to have access to Him. He didn't send us down here with an instruction booklet. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you weren't born with a freaking book that say, hey, this is what you need to do to get to me. All right? It was already here. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's why they took it upon themselves to start messing with it. Your instruction booklet is built in. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's how you get them the toys, which y'all get some stuff like that for, you know, Christmas and stuff for kids, and they say batteries not included, you know, but you get an instruction booklet, this, that, and other, man. Hey, you don't need an instruction booklet on what you're supposed to do as a spiritual being. The only reason you would get an instruction booklet, man, is for somebody to instruct you to do something opposite than what you are meant to do. Right? If God made us in his image, then we'll be able to connect to Him. Okay?
That doesn't necessarily rectify you not being unknown to your religion. I think
I don't want to be a religious man. I don't want to be Muslim. I don't want to be Christian. I don't want to be Hindu, because I don't pick up the books. I want to be able to grab hold to the Spirit.
Yes, sir.
Most of the people who I heard talk the books and can recite the books don't show the Spirit.
Yeah.
They can't access the Spirit.
But this is where I can agree with you, but also it's for me to also admonish you to say, you use your platform for people to receive the word in your own right. You see what I'm saying?
I don't deliver the word because I don't know the word. I walk with the Spirit. My mother and them know the word. I don't know the word. I hadn't picked up the Bible to read the word. I got the Spirit because when I wanted the word, I couldn't get the word. I was locked away in a cell and they wouldn't give me the Bible. So for some strange reason, I was able to access the Spirit. That's the Spirit that Jesus said that will write God's word upon your heart. I don't want to be Christian because Christians can't access the Spirit. They all got the word. I don't want the word, God. I want your Spirit. Because it says with this Spirit that I can do greater works than Jesus. There's no Christian I ever heard to say they can do greater works than Jesus. And Jesus himself said that you can do greater works with this Spirit. So I don't want the Christian word. Give me that Spirit Jesus was talking about that raised the dead, that allows you to walk on water. I ain't seen a Christian walk on water yet.
But isn't that the truth for you to understand and say, yo, I'm going to be what I've never seen?
If you had never seen it, you can't become it. So I watched my mother take care of children. I watched my mother feed people with her word of God. I watched my mother pray to get my grandmother off drugs. I watched my mother use the word of God. Okay, mama, that word worked good enough for you, but I need the Spirit. The things that I've gotten involved in and the things that I do and the things that I face, the word ain't gonna help me, mama. I need the Spirit.
God didn't look here. When there was no Bible at the beginning of the time. There was no Bible. So how was these people connected to God? Did they have did he all of a sudden decide I need to make an instruction booklet? You see what I'm saying? And if you don't know what I'm referencing, I am referencing the Bible. Now, whether a good majority of the Bible has been altered in doctrine and stuff, who's to say? But you look at the beginning of the video where I played a piece from the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers and stuff. And they talking about we will confuse them with dogma and religion and stuff like that. They ain't say what specific religion. They just said religion. religion, putting that out there. And there's so much confusion as it pertains to religion, right? People saying, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, this is the right way. But what God would actually need that in order to reach you? You see what I'm saying? If God want to touch you, does he have to go to those means? And I say that because, like I said, man, you look at Christians, right? And like I said, God, I grew up in a Christian church. I grew up going to church on a regular basis. Like, I was the 3-4 times a week kid, okay? And then going on the weekends, at least once on the weekends, Sunday. So I would do maybe 4 or 5 days in a week of church. That was me, okay? My mom was heavily enshrined in the church, all right? And with that, we had to go too. I was in Sunday school every Sunday. I was in there on Wednesdays. I was in there on Mondays, Bible class, scripture study. I did all that. So the point that I'm trying to make, man, is that y'all go back, man, to the start of the pandemic and how they had so many Christians that was deep-rooted in the church that couldn't make heads or tails of right or wrong from whether they should take the walk or not. You know, and some of them, and they was using like the Pope and stuff, and they were telling them like, hey, God created this medicine for us in order for us to survive. Okay, he created this for us, and the church, the people in the church were easily fooled. They were the most easily fooled. How is it that they're the most easily fooled when you would think they're supposed to be, you know, some of the most guided, most gifted as it pertains to being connected to God? But in all actuality, they weren't. They were the furthest. They were the furthest. They were led the furthest astray. All right. Now, I mean, you can look at it a couple of different ways. Is it because being in the church, you're constantly distracted from being able to really connect spiritually, because they don't really practice that level of connection? Okay, we talk about praying and stuff like that and meditation and the differences between the two, and going within and being able to redirect your energy to the source in order to get those type of downloads and information that you need in order to lift your consciousness or raise your abilities as a spiritual being. Right? Now, for some people, you know, they go to church and they claim they catch the Holy Ghost and whatever, and they cause them to speak in tongues, and they dancing around and all this and that, man, and showing that this is, oh yeah, I'm, you know, God is having me do this. This is my way of showing that I'm a godly person, right? And them people still, main ones, went and heard them, took the walk. So, like I told y'all in the video I had before, you, what I say, either it was the signal or you've been touched, but it basically was talking about how people got the information that they didn't need to go do that, right? But everybody didn't get that. Everybody didn't get that same message. Now, like I said, it's one or two things. Second, if you in the church, you believe what the people in the church are telling you. You believe what the people in church. So the pastor could easily get up and say, hey, everybody go do this, everybody go do it. Kind of like the Pied Piper or whatever, the one that led all the children. First he came and led the rats out, and then he led the children out with the music. Once he got everybody to listen to him, then he led them astray. Kind of like the whole Miley Cyrus and stuff, how they do things. So you look at that. They got you all wrapped around needing instructions. You need instructions. You need to get the information from them, okay? Like, you have to have it manually put into your system, manually, instead of getting it automatically. You see what I'm saying? Like, getting an automatic update, an automatic download straight from God, straight from the source. Instead, you have to go and get it manually put in. Her, you need to do this, you need to do that, boom, boom, boom. Like, that's how God made us and intended us to be. He put us here and said, I intend you to take this Bible, I'm gonna put this Bible down here, and this is what I need y'all to do. Why would God need to operate like that? You see what I'm saying? So, the people that were most indoctrinated into religion and stuff like that were the most easily deceived in this stuff, okay? And that's why I told y'all before, if we got these different worlds, these different realms and stuff like that, do all these different beings and whatnot have a Bible that's right there ready, really accessible for them to tell them how to move as a being in their world, right? Or is it that man here have incorporated it in order to enslave a lot of people's minds and be able to control the masses? And if it ain't just, like I said, I don't believe necessarily, listen, like I said, I don't believe necessarily that the whole Bible is corrupted. But I do believe that man touched it. But I also believe that man, or let's say reptile in the form of man, touched it. You see what I'm saying? So just like their intent was to lead people astray physically, but they can also lead people astray spiritually, because they got power and access to the information that we hold so dearly. So they you think about it, man. Like I said, people want to pick and choose and bite off, pieces of the apple that they want, and they want to throw the rest away. But look at it, man. Look at the dollar bill. What's on the dollar bill, man? I tell y'all this all the time. What is on the freaking dollar bill? In God we trust.
Than we ever had in the United States of America was a draconian reptilian. They are all blood related. That's why every president is related. It's the 13 bloodlines. That's why America has 13 blood stripes on the flag. Even time translates to 13. If you add up all the numbers on the clock, 12 plus 1, 11 plus 2, and you just keep going down, you're going to get 13 every time. Everything gonna lead to 13 because 13 represents those original 13 bloodlines of draconian reptilians that invaded our planet. 13 original colonies. Why do you think they were called colonies, nigga? Reptiles have colonies, nigga. We ain't ever had no colonies, nigga. Insects have colonies.
In 1988, an article in the New York Times traced fully 13 out of all of the 40 U.S. presidents at the time as having a direct bloodline connection to European nobility. In 2012, a 12-year-old girl named Brigitte d'Avignon actually did a much more complex genealogical study of the U.S. presidents using the power of the internet and computers.
On the School Watch tonight, the story of a 7th grader from Salinas who claims to have made a major discovery about President Obama. She and her grandfather say that President Obama is related to all but one U.S. president.
And she found that 42 out of 43 U.S. presidents all had a common ancestor in King John I from England. And this is not just any old king. This is the guy who actually chartered the Magna Carta, which became the defining element that turned into the British Constitution.
D'Avignon says she spent countless hours on the internet over the summer researching the lineage of our presidents, a project that started with her trying to trace her own family tree.
But I'm the first historian to do all the presidents.
So that's almost all of the U.S. presidents that we've ever had. The bottom line is these people are tracking their lineage, they're tracking their bloodline, and they're making sure that their own people get steered into the positions of the highest power and influence worldwide, including the United States of America.
Within secret societies,
33rd degree Freemason and black nobility president Franklin Delano Roosevelt had this symbol printed on the dollar bill from 1933. It was a symbol of secret societies in Europe, long before anyone heard of the United States, and it is awash with Freemasonic and secret society symbolism going back to the ancient world. Notice the symbology and numerology used on the dollar bill. The most obvious symbol is the Illuminati pyramid, with the hovering, all-seeing eye in the capstone.
I say to the Americans, have you seen these seals before? They say, no. I say, but they've been on your dollar since 1933. How come you've never seen them? They're Illuminati seals, which was a secret society set up in 1776 by a man called Adam Weishaupt, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, Weishaupt was an ex-Jesuit priest who had an aim, was to put Lucifer on the throne of the world. And on the back of the dollar here, you see the seal on the left-hand side, and there's an eye in the triangle, which many Americans presume to be the eye of God, but it's not. It's the eye of Horus in Egyptian mythology, now called the eye of Lucifer or Satan. Now we can establish that fact because the God that we serve does not have one eye, of course, he's not a cyclops. It says the eyes, plural, of the Lord run to and fro throughout the earth. Anybody who is familiar with witchcraft will know that that eye, when you open it a little bit, is the eye of psychic knowledge. When you open it completely and it is illumined, as this one is, it is the eye of Lucifer himself, who is the god of Freemasonry, the god of witchcraft, and the god of the occult or esoteric practice. Then you have the 13 layers of stone on the pyramid, and people should be asking the question, what is an Egyptian pyramid doing on the back of an American dollar? What link-up is there between America and Egypt? The answer is none at all, except in the field of the occult. And I discovered that the 13 layers of stone there stand for the 13 layers in Freemasonry, which is very much involved in this plan to set up the Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is a one-world government. Then you have at the bottom 1776. The date was May the 1st, when the Illuminati was inaugurated in Bavaria, not July the 4th, the Declaration of Independence, as many Americans presume. The two words at the top, Annua Chaptus, stand for announcing the birth of, and down the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum. The word novus in Latin stands for new. The word ordo means order, and the word seclorum is where we get our word secular from, the absence of God. And thus we see that eye cannot be the eye of God, for why would he be setting up a new system, complete world government, with the absence of himself as being in power? And thus we see we're dealing with a Luciferian plan. On the other side, we have the so-called American eagle, which we discover is not an eagle at all. According to the witchcraft people, that is a phoenix. And the phoenix, as we all know, was a mystical bird that rose out of the ashes of the Tower of Babel.
This dollar bill has value because it is based on your physical body. Your flesh and blood body backs up the authority of this money. If you're an American, this money is backed up by your body. Now let me show you how. When you look at the front of the dollar bill, you will see on each side are serial numbers for this particular dollar bill, are serial numbers. If you look on the back of your Social Security card, you will see the numbers on the bottom. The numbers on the bottom, usually in red, represent your blood on the New York Stock Exchange. It represents your physical body. That's why the numbers are in red, representing your blood. Now, when you take the numbers on the Social Security card and put it next to the serial numbers on the dollar bill, you will see it's the same sequence of numbers and letters. And so what it's actually telling you is that there's like whatever the amount is, 24 million or 4 million or $6 million, whatever it is that your body is worth on the New York Stock Exchange, there's that much money out there all over the world in fives and tens and hundreds with your Social Security number on it. So these numbers line up exactly correct the same way. The numbers can be in blue, black, or red. And so this is why we, years ago, we used to say the government is just going to beat you black and blue. Because black and blue are colors that are used in banking. You have to sign with a blue or black pen. Or you can sign with a red pen, which represents your blood. And then you get into the esoteric symbols. On the dollar bill side with the pyramid has 13 layers. There are 13 layers in the pyramid. There are 72 stones in the pyramid. The pyramid has an all-seeing eye that's not touching the pyramid. Above it, it has the letters in Latin, says annuit coeptus. Basically, annuit coeptus simply means our enterprise or our project now is a success. What project? What is it that's a project that's now a success? On the bottom, it says novus ordo seclorum. Novus is a novice, meaning new. Ordo is order, and seclorum is secular, which means of the world. It's secular. It's a secular project, and it seems to be working. So our project is now a success. What? The new order of the world. When you hear people talking about the New World Order, it's on the American dollar bill, New World Order. And it's based on what? It's based on the ancient Egyptian concepts of government, finance, law, and the way the ancient Egyptians understood the world at large. That's why you have a pyramid. Now, interesting, the word pyramid comes from, it's actually two words. A lot of people don't know this. Pyramid is two words put together, pyra and mid. Pyra is fire, like pyromaniacs. Pyrotex is fire. And mid simply means middle. So you put the two together, it becomes pyramid, or the fire in the middle. This is why today, when you go into public buildings like restaurants and hotels, you will see the restrooms for male and female, right? And on the male restrooms, all over in the public, will always be a pyramid. It's always a triangle or a pyramid on a male restroom. Women's is always a circle on the women's. Why? Because the pyramid is fire in the middle. And so the idea was that the fire of sex is in the middle of the human body. And so the women are also involved with this. They're called the circle of life. They keep the circle of life going. Without the women, there's no children. You'll see around the pyramid, you will see a circle, and that symbolizes the sun. And that symbolizing the sun has to do with Stonehenge. Stonehenge seems to be connected to the Great Pyramid of Egypt because they've used the same identical measuring inside Stonehenge as they used in the pyramid. The connection between Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid of Egypt, not all the pyramids, only that one pyramid called the Great Pyramid. And that's not the big one in the middle. That's the one just before it, is actually called the Great Pyramid. And that Great Pyramid uses what is called the pyramid inch. It has to do with what the Egyptians called the sacred cubit, but that's another story. But the pyramid inch is used in the pyramid and in Stonehenge. This eye in the pyramid is representing the Egyptian sun god. The eagle, of course, represents the sun, and of course, on one side, we see that there's 32 feathers in one wing of the eagle and 33 on the other wing. 32 and 33 are Masonic numbers, you know, the 32nd degree and then the 33rd degree. And of course, when you're going into court, they're going to give you the 3rd degree. And so showing that the courts are all Masonic construction to start with. So if you're not a Mason, you need to stay out of court. You better find out what you're doing when you go into court, because they're going to give you the 3rd degree. You will see 13 stars above the eagle's head, but the 13 stars are in the configuration of what we call the Star of David. It's actually a 6-pointed star, which is a hexagram. We call it the Star of David, but that is not correct. Actually, in point of fact, it's called the Star of Saturn. And look it up in the encyclopedias and you will see a 6-pointed star has always been referred to as the Star of Saturn. But Saturn plays a very big part today in the world religions. The 13 stars, there are 13 arrows, there are 13 berries and leaves. There are 13 strips on the eagle's chest for the original American flag. The tail of the eagle has 9 feathers. There's a reason why. 9 is very important to the secret societies of Freemasonry coming out of the Vatican. The Vatican Freemasonry, York and Scottish Rite Freemasonry, they all realize that there's something very important about the 9 feathers, because the tail feathers of a bird help it direct its flight. It can decide where it wants to go according to the tail feathers. The reason why this is important, because if you look up the history of the Knights Templar, they were referred to as the Knights of the Temple of Solomon. Today it's in the Wailing Wall, is the Knights of the Temple of Solomon, is at the Wailing Wall. But if you look up in the dictionaries or encyclopedias the history of the Knights Templars, today what is called Knights Templars, we in America today call them the international bankers. The banking elites like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all of these international elites all are referred to in law as Knights Templars. But the bottom line on this is that if you look up the history of the Knights Templars in encyclopedias, it will tell you that this Knights Templars were founded by 9 men. 9 men founded the Knights Templars. And then they will give you some story about how these 9 men got together after the Crusades, once the Holy Land was protected under the Pope's dominion, and that there were so many people wanted to go to the Holy Land. It was very dangerous traveling in those days in the deserts to go to see the Holy Land. Those 9 men got together, the reference works say, and they formed a protection for the pilgrims going from Rome and from Europe over to the Middle East. Well, logic alone would tell you 9 men are not going to protect anybody. They're not going to go and protect all the millions of pilgrims going to the Middle East with 9 men. That was a cover story. But the actual story is that the Knights Templars were 9 Catholic Masonic Order Freemasons who were putting together for the Vatican a whole new superstructure of money and banking and government, and the entire operation was under the Vatican control, and there were 9 men who were in charge of that project of rebuilding a new order in Europe. And so that's why the eagle has the 9 tail feathers. And most of the members of secret societies know that. If you bring this up, they'll tell you, yeah, well, there was no 9 men who protected the pilgrims. No 9 men could do that.
The highest achievement of the Luciferian agenda is hidden in plain sight on the back of the US $1 bill. The cluster of 13 stars above the so-called eagle form a hexagram. Hexagrams are used in occult practices to conjure spirits. The eagle is really a phoenix, as described in Volume 1, and has points which combine with the top hexagram to form a third hexagram. When combined with the first hexagram, which points to the descrambled letters M-A-S-O-N, or Mason, the final element in the hidden proof is revealed. The back of the US dollar bill is really the geometric representation of the number of the beast, or 666. The back of the US dollar bill, therefore, proclaims the number of the man of sin who will set himself up in the yet-to-be-built third temple on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, proclaiming himself to be God.
Okay? So they passing that out, passing that out, passing it out. And knowing this world and how it operates, do you believe they're talking about the God of gods, our God? In God we trust. You really believe they would push that? That they're pushing. Think about that, man. So if they made the dollar, and we know, because I broke the dollar down for y'all. If I haven't, I'll break it down again. You see the texture, you see the pattern, right? You see all the different symbolism and stuff. You see that they put on there, and I did a breakdown before. I might put it in here again, where they show the different buildings and structures and things blowing up and everything like that, making it so that it was outlined to have some of these events occur, right? And then on top of that, in God we trust, the all-seeing eye and stuff. Okay, and I showed you at the beginning, we know who runs the money. Okay, so you know that these things that came around the galaxy, straight controlling, enslaving, and bullying different races. And then they got down here, and in the money, they have control of it to where they the ones printed it out. Who printed it out? Who made the decision for it to be printed out? Who decided what to put on there? Right? So the fact that they're in position to do that, and that's what they put on there, and we know money is the root of all evil. If you look at it, well, what's at the root of money? Who's creating it? Who's putting their signature marks on it? Right? So you look at that, man, and you say, well, why would they do that? Why would they put the money out there like that and make it so evident? Why do we move at the beat, or why are we driven by that source? Why is that our source, our life source is having that? And in order to have that, you have to do certain things. You know, you have some of the worst people that have that, and they do evil things to get it. Like I told y'all, when I put up, I can't remember, P-Files. It was the video P-Files that I had, where we was talking about how Wayfair and everything, they had the cabinets that was priced at like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, and it was always the name of some kid that got, you know, some little girl that went missing. And then nobody looked into it, they just dropped it. But it was obvious it was a correlation there. But nobody looked into it. Why? Because they in position to run all that stuff. This is their world, they run that stuff. So, just like when you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff, you're vowing to be under the rule and under control. Like you doing that, it's almost a ritualistic thing in itself. So you go and you pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to its justice, to which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. I don't even know the rest. Indivisible. I don't know the rest. I apologize. But I knew a long while ago if something was wrong with that. And on top of that, when you go to sleep at night, remember you'll fall asleep and you'll be watching TV or something, and then that thing will come on and play, and it's like it's programming your mind, programming your mind, programming your mind, programming your mind, programming your mind repetitively, to a point where you get like, that's what I need to follow, that's who I need to. But the folks in position to be over that were corrupt and evil, and the stuff that they pushed were.
41 Fahrenheit, winds moderate or fresh and northeasterly. And that's all we have for you this Saturday here on London Weekend Television. We'll see you in not too many hours' time. A safe and peaceful night to you all. Good night. And the time now just coming up to 1.5 minutes past 1 o'clock.
So I specifically put that piece in here, guys, because I thought it was relevant. Y'all know what they say, that the presidents also are related to the 13 bloodlines, the royal bloodlines. It's a coincidence, right, that you got Queen Elizabeth on that little broadcast, okay? So you see how they controlling the frequencies and the different broadcasts and the signals that's being put out. They control the antenna, kind of like in the movie They Live. They controlled the antenna that was sending out the signal, that had control, but also they kept those things hidden. And what are those things? Those things was basically symbolic of the draconian. If it all makes sense. Okay? So that's why I tell you, they allow for you to have the information and the instructions they want you to have. They put the stuff together for you. So in order to break away from what they put together, the confines and the construct of the matrix, like why I put this in the beginning of the video, you have to be able to connect to the source outside of the stuff that they're giving you to keep you distracted or keep you from actually connecting. You see what I'm saying? So it's no different, man. It ain't just the walk. People like, oh, they control the narrative with the walk. No, they control the narrative with everything. You see what I'm saying? So for you, it's important that you break away from that by adhering to some of the things that come through the source, through spirituality. But they've done their part in making sure you don't get that either. But they the ones on the money and stuff too. Y'all see how this work? But see, guys, that's why you have to understand, they're controlling all the information, everything that you perceive, and they are the ones that are actually in control of the population. Like I told you, we control the population of all the animals and stuff up under us. If something's over us, they gotta control us. So they control the population. You see what I'm saying? That's why you have DEPOP. But that's also why you have stuff being put in our air, our food, our water, to control us. Okay, also to monitor us. We monitor our cattle, don't we? Monitor how many cattle we have. We monitor how many dogs and stuff. We got animal control and stuff that go out. We do that stuff because we supposed to be the top. But when you're not the top, you're the ones being controlled. So they've implemented different mechanisms into the population, like I said, to control us. Not just controls, to monitor us. Okay, to make sure people staying in line. Okay, to like just like you have electric fences and stuff. You have different things that you use to make animals and stuff do what you want them to do. You herd the sheep and stuff. It's the same thing. It's just on a broader spectrum. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, the stuff, if you don't ever believe anything I told you, man, you see what I showed you. I've showed you, I've identified who's who, what's what, and how they are impacting our lives, the different aspects of our lives that they offer. You know that, then you also know that they have to implement certain things as that control, or as that elite group above us. And then we go back to the guy I was talking about, the connection on the dollar bills for the priesthood and the Illuminati and stuff. Yes, but we also know the Illuminati work for who? They work for those beings, the 13 bloodlines. They all connected to the draconian side of things. See, so like I told y'all guys, like you see like the national anthem, all right? They play that, boom, all right? Like most of the time you sleep. So if you notice when you sleep, your mind is in like a state of, what's it called?
Recording of a dying human brain, one that happened entirely by chance. How it happened, how you were able to get this data, because I thought that part of the story was almost just as fascinating.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a complete accident.
So how'd they go about doing it? Well, a man with epilepsy died of a heart attack while going through a brain scan to detect and treat his seizures. The brain activity they documented provides some of an explanation for those who recall having vivid near-death experiences. Just before the man's heart stopped working, there were changes in his brain waves. They became very similar to what happens when we dream or when we are in meditation or thinking back about our memories.
During this, the patient had cardiac arrest and died. That was what led us to the first ever recording of a dying human brain. What we find is a very similar pattern of brain waves happening in the phase 30 seconds before the heart stops pumping blood into the brain and 30 seconds after the heart stops pumping blood into the brain. That was quite astonishing to us.
Dr. Ajmal Zemmour is a neurosurgeon at the University of Louisville who led the study. He says that patients' brain waves are similar to what's seen in people when they're dreaming, recalling memory flashbacks, and he says the pattern fits the description of what some have described after surviving a near-death experience. Dr. Zemmour says the study was done in 2016, but he waited years to publish his work, reaching out to colleagues and hoping to find more case studies. That's when he realized just how rare it was to actually capture this type of brain recording. Again, it's only one case, and a lot more research is needed to determine if this phenomenon is something all of us experience.
Your mind is in a certain type of state when you sleep, right? And if you ever notice, if you ever watching TV when you go to sleep, sometimes you'll notice you'll whatever's on the TV, you'll have a dream that might be associated with whatever you was watching before you went to sleep. Okay, you might not even notice that something that you was watching might be in your scene, but it opens your mind for programming, for download, in a sense. You understand what I'm saying? So like, they know this stuff, right? They know how the world, they know how the mind works. They know how the subconscious mind works. They've been playing with it. That's why I say they put certain programming and stuff. They put little images, like you ever see the Disney sign and stuff, how it pop up and it shows images and stuff. It might have some perversion, sexual images and stuff that's being programmed in your mind. Also helping to create perversion, all right? Perverting people's minds and things like that. people don't know how they end up having some of the problems they have. Some, they just think, oh, this is just something that, they were born with or something like that. A lot of times it's just straight programming, right? The stuff they watch on TV, they don't realize that the subliminal mind is picking up on things, all right? And the same time thing when you're in a sleep state, all right? And in essence, you also, when you're in a sleep state, it's like your spirit leaves the body, okay? And that's why people are able to astral project and things like that in a sleep state. And it's also a certain realm that you reach when you go into meditation that allows your spirit to lead the body. But also, like we talk about, if you're opening up if you traveling to the spiritual realm and you opening up that portal, you also are subjecting yourself to those dark entities and stuff if you're vibrating low and you're on a low plane. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why people have certain kind of nightmares and things like that too. But you in that sleep state, and then they start to run a program. Notice just like Windows, like you do your updates and stuff on your computer at nighttime, right? Same thing. You automatically start getting these updates and downloads on your phone and stuff to wake up, boom, it's programmed, right? Same stuff with the human mind, all right? And it's a method of control, and they know all about this stuff, right? So you notice after the anthem, boom, next thing you know, you hear this boo. What we talking about? Y'all know what I've been pushing for y'all for the longest. We're talking about frequency. All right, that frequency, that sound, what is that doing? That's re-establishing that programming. It's basically sealing that in your mind, okay? It's opening your mind and subjecting you to what they're trying to put in, all right? And it's reiterating that to some degree, all right? It's a method behind the madness and stuff, but like I told y'all, just because you stumbled across stuff today doesn't mean it wouldn't happen yesterday. So we have to look at the stuff that was going on yesterday in order to understand how things been functioning and how things work today. We look at stuff that's happening today and understand how stuff worked yesterday. You see what I mean? So we've been talking a lot, like the last couple videos, about sound and frequency. And that's why I put this piece in here, what Terrence Howard, he was talking about frequency, healing the body and stuff like that. But it's also frequency and stuff like that that disrupts the natural biometric levels of the body, okay? Messes with the brain, messes with the molecular structure, that kind of stuff. All right, this is on a microbial level, so to speak, or dealing with microbes and stuff like that. All right, if that makes sense. But sound, I told you that we're talking about accessing the pineal gland. I told y'all that. Certain stuff they put in music, patterns and stuff, certain hums and hymns and stuff, man, vibrations that can access the pineal or open, or also have a reverse effect. You have to look at the whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole picture, man, and put this information together, if that makes sense. All right?
Nikola Tesla knew that the Earth ringed like a bell.
We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz.
The guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff. We live in an electromagnetic universe. This is what we are told, where everything spins and vibrates. And the electromagnetic universe is actually a subtle deception. You'll understand as we go why I say this. It's a very subtle deception, a very important subtle deception, because it's not the electromagnetic universe that we live in. It's the magneto-electric universe that we live in. And just twisting those two around would have given us a very different perception while we grow up about the world that we live in and the universe and this reality of us, if we don't think of it as the electromagnetic but the magneto-electric. Huge consciousness shift in growing up with that kind of thinking. Everything has its own specific frequency, as we mentioned before. Prime resonance frequency. Everything vibrates at its own frequency. That's how we can manipulate things with frequency and sound and resonance. all comes to the same thing when you start breaking it down. Sound and resonance are also the common links of all creation. In Christianity, we have the Word, we have the in Hinduism, the Egyptians that sang the universe into creation, and my favorite, the Aboriginals that believe the world was sung into creation with 3 sacred songs, or brought into creation with 3 sacred songs, which is the equivalent to the Holy Trinity. And we start seeing the whole important structure of music and resonance and chord structures, harmonic resonance in music. We get the 6 days of creation very obviously become visible in sacred geometry, and the 6 aspects of show us cymatic patterns, and the 6 aspects of the all-seeing eye of Horus show us 6 very obvious resonating ratios that tell us that all these ancient cultures understood sound, resonance, and frequency, and it's encoded in all the things that they did. Sound is the source of all creation, and it's all about coherence and harmonic resonance. Even in our bodies, if the cells of our body are not in coherent harmonic resonance, our cells are in dis-ease, in disease, and that's why we get sick. And if we're not resonating with the earth frequencies, the natural earth frequencies of Gaia, we are in dis-ease with the Mother Earth that we live on and walk on, and that's why we get sick. Hans Jenny's beautiful documentary called Cymatics in the 60s will show you exactly how sound is pretty much behind everything in creation. We've already looked at sound manifesting in physical form. This is the quickest and easiest way for us to comprehend, once again, how this untouchable, invisible thing called sound can manifest in physical form. That little thing on the metal plate, with the sand on the metal plate on that video. That's just probably the quickest way for us to say, okay, sound can manifest physical shapes. And sound also inspired religious symbols, because the guys that created the religious symbols know all this stuff. These guys knew all this stuff, and they know they're all connected to the ancient bloodlines. And some of these beautiful images of the cymatic patterns, when you drill into it, you get that perfect cross in a circle of the source of the sound. And that's it. The source of the sound is this beautiful cross in a circle, and this is why most of the religious movements have the cross in a circle as their symbol, recognizing that the source of everything in creation is sound, the sound of the Creator. And sound and resonance, that does everything you can imagine, right? Creates light, levitates, boils water, creates DNA. Sound heals and destroys pathogens, moves beyond the speed of light. And we have hypersound and laser and Caesar technology, not laser, sound lasers, Caesar. Sound makes things invisible, energizes the water we drink, so the water actually heals us, and it also energizes the air that we breathe, so that we can actually survive from the air that we breathe. Otherwise, we would not survive from the air that we breathe if it wasn't for sound. And very importantly, sound is the precursor to electromagnetism, not the other way around. Sound causes electromagnetism. This is a big one for us to come to terms with. Ancient civilizations understood all this, and they used sound and frequency as a source of energy in every possible way. They used sound and frequency to control humanity, and it seems that they were focusing for some reason on our pineal gland. They had to destroy our pineal gland, and the more you study this, the more you realize why that was critical, because it seems that our pineal gland was that third eye that so many of us are aware of, or we keep calling it our third eye, that connected us to everything in creation and allowed us to pick up the frequencies and the invisible, untouchable, unfathomable stuff through the third eye, and actually be able to communicate telepathically with everything and everyone, and interact not only with other beings, but with other entities and beings and animals and trees and rocks, because of our third eye. That thing there is the magic part of our body and our anatomy that's been completely destroyed. And it seems from all these images that they took a lot of time and effort to destroy our pineal gland. And they continue to do so today, as you are aware of. And they used cone-shaped tools to do this. This is a key thing here. Can clearly see the cone-shaped tools, and this is a repetitive theme all the time, and the pineal gland, and also, by the look of it, the DNA that is obviously the code that creates the pineal gland in our anatomy eventually. And sound and frequency. Notice the magnetic wrist watch here. And I'm giving the game away here because I'm telling you what that is. There is a cone. This guy's holding a cone in his hand, very important cone-shaped tool that he's doing some function with. And there's another cone here on his arm. At first you think, oh, it's just an interpretation of the guy's muscle. No, it's a cone. It's a perfect cone that feeds into this magnetic wrist watch. And you'll know why that's a magnetic wristwatch very soon. And the same kind of control through using frequency and sound and magnetism and electromagnetism that was used in ancient times, the all-seeing eye of Horus, it's still being used by the broadcast companies today. You know, it's encoded in their logos. It's everywhere around us, but we're just too blind to see it. Sound as a tool and technology, very important. Sound creates light. Even this, you add attach a LED light to a speaker, and you put a speaker in a noisy place, you light the little LED up. That's spectacular. So it works both ways, light and sound. Every sound frequency has a light frequency, and every light frequency has a sound frequency attached to it. Corey Good, in a recent interview, said that he was in some giant underground cavern somewhere, and there was this invisible source of light. And when he asked, where does the light come from? He was told the light was coming from the sound. The light was being created by the sound. In Egypt, the ankh was used for healing. That was just a resonating device, sound frequency resonating for healing. The Native American medicine wheel is clearly just a cross in a circle as a source of all things, so from sound to heal people. Royal Rife, the man who cured all disease in 1931, they did that with sound and resonance and frequency, spectacular achievement in curing cancer in the wards. This is his handwritten book that I had the privilege of seeing. It's in a private library in Sedona, Arizona. There's about 700 pages in there, I think. And they are page after page with his own handwritten frequencies for all the different diseases. One of my biggest, most exciting obsessions at the moment, and if there are people in this room that can do this, please go away and do this. You know that honey lasts forever. It doesn't go off. It's not affected by viruses, bacteria, pathogens. It's one of those miraculous things. Apparently, the reason that honey does that is because of the frequencies of the bees' wings when they're building their honeycombs and when they creating and bringing in the honey. So it's a frequency of the bee's wings that creates the hexagonal structure of honeycombs. It's also interesting is that the hexagonal structure is a structure of oxygenated and structured water that cures disease. This is really important. If any one of you can go and record the frequency of bees in a beehive, the buzzing of the bee's wings, and you take that frequency to a lab, a biochemistry lab, and you expose a petri dish of viruses, bacteria, and fungus to the frequency of the bee's wings, I suspect that that frequency will kill the bacteria. George Lakhovsky's multiple wave oscillator is a spectacular device with which he cured his father, listen carefully, he cured his father of quadriplegia. You don't cure people of quadriplegia, right? His father was admitted with quadriplegia into the hospital in the USA. 6 weeks later, he walked out on crutches. The way he treated him is every day he walked in there with a little small handheld portable multiple wave oscillator from George Lakhovsky and treated him for about 45 minutes up and down his spine, after which he exposed him to color light therapy for another hour. He did this for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. His father walked out on crutches. I saw the hospital report. It says, Mr. So-and-so exhibited a remarkable recovery. That's it. It's spectacular. They just won't go there. They will not be, engaged in any explanation. In 2011, Anthony Holland, this is now in a TED Talk, show us which frequencies kill cancer cells. Very briefly. Okay, he tells us between 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz. Kills cancer cells. And he shows us in a TED Talk.
We now know that cancer is vulnerable between the frequencies of 100,000 hertz and 300,000 hertz. So now we attack leukemia cells. Leukemia cell number 1 tries to grow a copy of itself, but the new cell is shattered into dozens of fragments and scattered across the slide. Leukemia cell number 2 then hyperinflates and also dies. Leukemia cell number 3 then tries to make another cancer cell. The new cell is shattered and the original cell dies.
Magnetrons obviously generate huge amounts of energy, and that's just sound. It's a resonant cavity magnetron. Resonant cavity magnetron that's used in laser beams, laser technology, microwaves, all use magnetrons for that technology. Sound acts as a cloak of invisibility. There's so much new information about this. This opens a whole new chapter and debate. There's very advanced new sound cloaking technology right now available. This plastic 3D acoustic pyramid acts as a acoustic cloak, make things invisible when you put it underneath it, when you expose that pyramid to specific sound frequencies. And that pyramid is reminiscent of what? Is reminiscent very strongly of Eastern architecture. Sound creates hurricanes. In 2003, these guys lodged a patent to create hurricanes with sound. And then here's another one. Sound creates supercluster galaxies. When I said earlier, the lower the frequency, the larger the cymatic shape. Now you've got a frequency that's 57 octaves lower than middle C, rumbling away from a supermassive black hole in the Perseus cluster in the key of B flat, creating a supercluster galaxy. And it's amazing. This is apparently an image of it. I like the one on the left because when you watch Hans Jenny's cymatics documentary, that looks identical to the images of lycopodium powder on a metal plate with sound frequencies on it. This is like lycopodium powder that's creating supercluster galaxies. This is insane. So you start to get the idea of as above, so below. There's no end. This is what really disturbs me. The fact that we could put out fire with sound, and yet this has not been employed or used anyway. Why? Because it's not good for business. Remember, the moment we stop the growth and the need for money, the entire global financial system collapses. This is just spectacular. These kids developed this little resonator that puts out a fire. 5 seconds. Count it from the moment they put it down to the frying pan to when the fire is out. 5 seconds. Imagine the fire trucks arriving at a burning building. The ladders go up, and instead of fire hoses, a bunch of speakers get switched on and put out this frequency. That fire in the building will be out in literally few seconds or a minute. The entire fire, everywhere, because it'll resonate right through the building. But that's not going to happen, because that's going to save a lot of money.
Swarm robotics, where they'd be attached to a drone, and that would be applied to forest fires or even building fires, where you wouldn't want to sacrifice.
5 seconds. Sound energizes the air we breathe, and this is how we actually oxygenate our bodies and our lungs, or through our lungs, the blood in our veins and our arteries, rather. Because as you breathe, the air that you breathe makes a bloody noise, and it goes into your lungs, and it goes into the smaller and smaller orifices as it moves into your lungs. So it speeds up and speeds up and speeds up, and it goes higher and higher and creates these frequencies. And it's the energy and the sound of the air that you breathe that actually energizes the oxygen in the air. So that oxygen is buzzing as it's moving faster and faster. By the time it reaches your alveoli, and it goes from the alveoli into your artery, from the lungs into the arteries, that oxygen in the air is buzzing and energized from the sound. And that's when it goes into your blood, and it's used in the blood, and it's stripped of the vibrating energy. And when it's stripped of the vibrating energy, you breathe it out again, and it just repeats that cycle. And that's how we energize the oxygen that we breathe. That don't teach you this at medical school. In 2011, Luc Montagnier spontaneously generated DNA by exposing a tube of water to certain sound frequencies that had the frequencies of a DNA in it, and constituted DNA in an empty test tube. If you can create DNA in an empty test tube with sound, Now you start understanding how we can start cloning other species and other creatures just by sound and vibration. And then obviously sonoluminescence, the star in a jar. God said, let there be light. A bubble with brilliant light inside a body of water. Is it possible that all the star systems that we see out there are actually just giant bubbles of light in a never-ending mass of water? I don't know.
But you driven to be programmed to surrender yourself, your mentally, to whatever it is they want to do. Now, like we said, when you talk about DEPOP, what is it? They would set up wars and stuff like that in order to knock off a good portion of the population. And that's not necessarily anything to do with war, but they made it about a war so that you would accept it, and then they could knock off a good couple 100,000 young boys that were in the early stages of reproduction. That now that keeps probably, think about it, if you knock off 80, 90,000 men at 18, 19 years old, if them boys wasn't out there, what they do, they still here with their girlfriends, stuff, they having, you know, marriages, relationships and things, they having kids. And 80,000, I say out of 90,000 boys, that at that age you probably gonna get at least, we'll say 50 to 60,000 that had kids and stuff like that, at the least. That's on the bare minimum. So that's part of the DEP program, right? So by you being so caught up in doing what they trying to have you do, you following their rule, and you believe in what they're pushing, that they're really doing this war for this and that. Just like the whole 9/11 thing. You know, oh, we gotta go to war because they did this, but they controlled that, right? But they got you so caught up in believing that they actually doing the right things and going to bat for us as human beings or as a race, that you're willing to sacrifice your kid. You know what I'm saying? You're willing to go to war for them. You're willing to do this, do that, and the other, even though they got bad intentions. Does that make sense? So what I'm pointing out to you guys is that there's always been the mechanisms of mental and spiritual, physical slavery, enslavement of the mind through different things like religion, like the programming, okay? Those are more tangible assets that they've used to indoctrinate or program people's mind to accept the BS that they push and keep you from reaching the source like you're supposed to. Okay, that's why I say when you got here, the real instruction booklet was in the Pioneer. That's why I tell you guys, that's why I tell you guys it's important for you to decalcify your pineal gland. Guys, you have to always look at anything that they did and they made a huge deal about, anything that they incorporated a lot of money into doing to affect you. You need to reverse that. That's just common sense, man. It's just common sense. Like I tell you, for all the crap that they put in your body, it's to kill you. That's the end of the day. All the stuff that they put in your system, as far as in your mind and stuff, is to kill your spirituality. You see what I'm saying? All the stuff that they put on you physically is to kill your ability to think and process and move about in a way that would be different from what they want. Everything that they've done, guys, is a methods of control, from your mind to our numbers as a population. Control your soul, your spirit, keep you from being able to leave here so they can constantly do what they want to do to you. Controlling your energy, all of that. That's all part of their plans. They've been incorporating this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I come on and talk about the detox shop and stuff like that, all I'm doing is helping you break free. Free your mind, right? Like Morpheus said in the Matrix. Some people don't know nothing about the stuff I'm talking about. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They can look at me like I'm some crazy dude on this balcony just talking smack. But if you connect it spiritually, man, you're gonna pick up on what I'm saying, You're gonna understand, like, it's gonna resonate with you, but like I said, go back to the parasitic energy that they putting out that tell you otherwise. Like, don't listen to him. He's trying to misguide you. He's trying to get you to do something new age. He's misinformation. Don't listen to him. When deep down you listening to me, you like, he showed right. I mean, it makes sense. I don't have to be a specialist or expert, do I? If I came out here in a white coat, would I all of a sudden stand out to you guys? Would all of a sudden would my message be more clearer? That's how you've been programmed to accept it. You know, if I gave you this message with the national anthem playing in the background, would you accept it? If I use certain trigger words that you've been programmed to accept as real and to block your mind in, would you accept the message then? Yeah, think about that, man. I mean, God, look at it however you want. But at the end of the day, you know it's some validity to what I'll be telling y'all. And I just want folks to be able to access the information, man, that's coming naturally, organically. Not something that's been, like I said, instituted into society in order to control you. You understand what I mean? Control you. And if you don't think it's about control, man, then what is it? Why is it? Why is it necessary?
Later, I asked Van Bice what a weapon using this technology could do.
Direct them to do things against their so-called better judgment.
How easy would it be to assemble a weapon from existing off-the-shelf parts?
In 3 weeks, I could put together a weapon that would take care of a whole town.
Over the past year, CNN has repeatedly asked the Department of Defense and the Air Force about radio frequency weapons. After much resistance, DoD finally said that the subject was too sensitive to discuss.
In a vision of the future, I saw in a vivid dream that the hour is soon coming when men will become machines. A new one world order will rise and then demand that all the world's people receive the scientific brand. I saw a tiny free program, computer chips so thin, implanted in men's foreheads underneath their skin, linking all its errors to the system's central brain. The master computer that over them will reign. Watch us for 666 and the computer chip that is designed to strip you on your self-control.
But as long as they keep your mind entangled in all the different webs of lies and stuff, man, the programming and stuff, you'll never seek out the truth. And I play that little piece, man, at the beginning of the video because I feel like it's 100% necessary. Y'all need to know that. Like, you need to know there's a strategy outlined to attack us mentally, physically, and spiritually. Attack your health, attack your lifespan, attack your mind, attack your spirituality, attack you as a spiritual being. All of that's been outlined before you even got here. There was already plans laid out, your instruction booklet, your life path, all that stuff laid out on how they wanted you to go. And many people die like that. They die on that path, never knowing And that's what he said. They'll never know the trueness or realistic side of life. They'll die, basically, they'll die in their sleep. And anybody that's not getting the right message or not getting the right information will die in their sleep. And now listen, I'm not telling you to totally disregard the Bible. I ain't said that. Now I'm not telling you guys that, because I do believe that there's information as it pertains to the Bible to guide you to a certain point. But at a certain point, it has to kick in here for you. You got to be able to start to decipher what information is to actually get you to that point, or what information is to try to take you back down and keep you from evolving. If that makes sense. So, anywho, guys, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to point out some key things, man. Put some key information in here that you guys can relate to kind of see where I'm coming from with that. But you have to think about that, man. You have to think about that. Like I said, you go back to the early days, what was a Bible necessary for people to connect to God? You see what I'm saying? Did he have to put instructions down here for us to do that? Some people may believe so, you know, and some people may need instructions to do everything like, but some things you should just know, it should come to you. You see what I'm saying? It should just come to you, and that's how like a lot of stuff that I talk to y'all about, man, deal with, it just comes to me. I get the downloads, you know. It's like if your mind is clear and you're not being led and controlled by other things, man, like I said, the parasites and the energy level that they put out and the voices that they put in your head, man, if you're able to divert all of that and avoid that stuff, you're able to be connected. And when you connect, you start getting the information that you need in order to do what you're supposed to do. But it's a reason why people in the church was the main ones that went and took the walk and got led straight to the slaughter. You see what I mean? And then you had people like us sitting back like, yo, something ain't right with that. But they so locked in by this point in their lifetime by all the stuff that they've been subjected to in the church, outside the church, and they couldn't decipher or separate what's what. But this is by design. And we don't know, guys. You have to look at it too. Like I said, these things have happened over and over again. You can look at the city of Atlantis and stuff like that, and how these civilizations fell, what was being promoted, what was being pushed, what was being advocated for in those times that it happened. Just like we go back to the bubonic plague, the Spanish flu. I can't think of the other one, but why were some of those people more easily deceived? What were the people like me and you doing then to avoid some of these catastrophic disasters? Remember what Max Spears said, those that are connected to their higher self. He didn't say the ones that was reading the Bible. See what I'm saying? He said the ones that were able to be connected still. How are you connected still? Well, through your pineal gland. The thing that they've been cutting off since you were born. They made it, that was the main thing they want to do, cut off your connection to the source. They said that. I played the piece. So they've done that with everybody. That was part of the program. Okay, the part of the agenda, cut that off so that we can control them. They won't know who they are. They don't know what they're supposed to do. And then the fluoridation part, to make them stupid, which most people are. So they don't think, oh, I'll just go take this experimental drug that nobody's ever taken before, and I'll just try it out and see what happens in the next 10, 15 years.
This will leave you speechless. Terrence Howard is about to show you how the hidden rhythms of frequency shape our world. This is real, powerful, and it's all around us. So sit tight and let's dive in.
Our DNA is made up of what? 5 elements, right? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen. You know how they're arranged? The phosphorus sits right here in the middle, and you've got 4 oxygen atoms surrounding it. Then there's another phosphorus, 2 more oxygen atoms. Now these are the legs of that double helix. These are the legs. Now the latter steps on it, they become the adenine, the guanine, the cytosine, and thymine, the ATCGs. It turns out hydrogen, they used to think that energy, the body transferred or understood the energy information through electricity. They're finding out it's through frequency. Well, guess what hydrogen sounds like? It's a key of E, and it's a color yellow. That's what proper physics gets you to. Oxygen is a chartreuse, and it's the key of F over F sharp. Now, they used to, like I said, information used to be thought about as just electrical information passing on. But I've got a question for you. Have you ever been at a party with some of your friends you ain't seen in 10 years, but y'all was like 14, you hung out and there's a song that came on and you was like, and everybody got up and was live at that moment. Now say 10 years later you got a friend with you, he's a good guy, but he wasn't there when me and my boys formed this. So when that song comes on, our DNA tightens. There's a particular song, a scale in the genomes for each and every one of us. Now, when that song is played, when your particular prime resonant frequency is played, guess what happens? Your DNA celebrates and tightens. Everything else gets pushed out. Harmonic wave resequencing. The carbon is also the key of E and yellow. The nitrogen is G. And all these play a song. So say that the F over F sharps of the oxygen, the green, is only hitting at an F. Why? Because there's another frequency coming in from a generator over there. That's changing and causing it to change. The F hits the carbon, so instead of hitting as an F sharp, it hits as an F, so when it hits the carbon at an E, it doesn't hit it quite right, so the domino don't file right. So the next domino hits wrong. And so now we have malformation happening within our DNA because the frequencies are being pushed off. But when we hear our tone, we tighten back up. So yeah, I'm in the process of building the harmonic wave resequencer with another doctor who has been able to successfully cure AIDS and cancer. And it's well underway. But I wanted you guys to understand how that works. It's so simple. You do not need to tear the human body apart when all you can do is use frequency to bring it back to its normal space.
More and more people are delving into the power of frequencies, and an increasing number are starting to believe in it, echoing the knowledge of ancient civilizations. It seems we're only just rediscovering what was long understood by earlier cultures. Perhaps this growing understanding sheds light on a significant shift in the music industry, the change in standard tuning of musical instruments from 432 Hz to 440 Hz. This subtle yet profound alteration begs the question, was this simply a matter of standardization, or is there more to the story? The standard tuning pitch, often referred to as concert pitch, has varied throughout history. The tuning of A is equal to 432 Hz is said by some to be more harmonically aligned with the universe and the natural resonance of the human body. They often connect to ideas like those expressed by Terrence Howard, suggesting that there's a harmonic language embedded within our DNA, waiting to be played in the right key. The shift to 440 Hz occurred around the early 20th century and has since become the accepted standard for tuning musical instruments. Some conspiracy theorists suggest this was done with the knowledge that it would cause disharmony, anxiety, and a more aggressive response in the population. They argue that this decision, allegedly spearheaded by figures like Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi minister of propaganda, was a form of psychological manipulation. Nevertheless, the debate rages on. On one side, there are music theorists, historians, and musicians who contend that the difference in frequency is too slight to affect human consciousness in the way conspiracists claim. On the other, there are those who feel that the difference resonates through every note, affecting mood, consciousness, and even physical health. The controversy surrounding the tuning of music raises a fundamental question. Why are frequencies so important? If the difference of a few hertz in tuning can be the subject of such intense debate, it suggests a belief in the intrinsic power of frequency that resonates through history. From the chants of Gregorian monks to the tuning of Tibetan singing bowls, this belief is not only cultural but also increasingly scientific, as researchers delve into the effects of sound on the human body and consciousness. The importance of frequencies in music might extend beyond mere preference or historical precedent. It taps into the very way our brains process sound waves, the vibrations they create, and how these can influence our emotional and physiological states. Some studies suggest that music tuned to certain frequencies may enhance mood or cognition, although more research is needed to establish definitive effects. As we ponder the implications of Terrence Howard's assertions and the historical shift in music tuning, it becomes clear that to understand the full impact, we need to venture deeper into the science of sound. It's within the realms of acoustics, neuroscience, and even quantum physics that we can search for the answers to how and why frequencies might hold such sway over our well-being. In the following segment, we shall delve into the complexities of frequencies, examining the science behind their influence. From the molecular to the cosmic level, frequency is a fundamental aspect of our universe, and possibly a key to unlocking more harmonious states of existence. Let's dive into the science. Let's start small, with the atom. The concept that matter is not solid, but a cloud of potentialities comes from quantum mechanics. Electrons vibrate at specific frequencies determined by their energy levels, and these frequencies can be so exact that they define the identity of an atom. The atomic clock, a marvel of precision, is based on the vibrational frequency of cesium atoms, which is around 9,192,631,770 Hz, a frequency so stable that time itself is now defined by it. Moving into the biological domain, frequencies are equally critical. The human heart is a testament to this. The average resting heart rate sits between 60 to 100 beats per minute, each beat a frequency that can be affected by the slightest hormonal shift. Even brain function hinges on frequencies, with neural oscillations, brain waves, varying from the low delta frequency, 1 to 4 Hz during deep sleep, to the high beta frequency, 13 to 30 Hz in active thought. Nikola Tesla famously quoted, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." His work on the alternating current system was a dance with frequencies, manipulating them to transmit energy across vast distances, changing the world forever. He speculated on the potential of frequencies to influence the physical world, with rumors of an experiment that nearly shook a building to its foundations using a small mechanical oscillator at a resonant frequency. The power of frequencies is evident not just in the transmission of energy, but in their potential for disruption when out of balance. For instance, the resonance frequency of human eye sockets is around 18 Hz, and exposure to this frequency can lead to discomfort and blurred vision. When architectural or natural frequencies align, as they did disastrously with the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in 1940, the consequences can be catastrophic. At the largest scale, celestial bodies resonate with frequencies born from their mass and the force of gravity. The music of the spheres is not just poetic metaphor. Pulsars emit a detectable rhythmic frequency as they spin, and the sun resonates with helioseismic vibrations that help us understand its inner workings. As we delve into the profound implications of frequency, we realize that throughout history, many scientists and visionaries, from Tesla to modern researchers, have tried to convey the critical importance of frequencies. Yet, in the relentless pace of modern life, bombarded with a myriad of problems and distractions, these revolutionary insights often fade from public consciousness. It's as if the constant noise of our daily existence drowns out the subtle, yet profound, music of the universe that these figures have attempted to amplify for our collective benefit. This oversight might be one of our era's greatest follies, for if the universe is indeed composed of frequencies, then understanding and harnessing them could be transformative. Just as a single note played out of tune can ruin a symphony, a slight shift in the frequencies that govern our biological systems or our environment could have far-reaching consequences. Conversely, aligning with the correct frequencies might offer us unprecedented control over our health, technology, and the world around us. Throughout history, numerous individuals who have ventured beyond the conventional paradigms of science and society have often found their theories marginalized, their voices silenced. This pattern raises crucial questions about the nature of progress and the suppression of innovative ideas. Take, for instance, Nikola Tesla, whose profound genius revolutionized the world of physics and engineering. After his death, it's widely reported that many of his papers and research notes were confiscated by government agencies. The full extent of Tesla's work remains shrouded in mystery, fueling speculation that some of his revolutionary ideas were too transformative or too threatening to be released to the public. Similarly, the curious case of Royal Raymond Rife, who claimed his Rife machine could cure cancer with frequency therapy, was met with considerable skepticism and legal challenges, leading to the eventual downfall of his research. Critics argue his science was flawed, while supporters suggest his work was undermined by a medical industry that felt threatened by his claims. Moving into the realm of entertainment and social influence, actor Terrence Howard presents a contemporary example. Known for his acting career, Howard's recent foray into the realm of alternative physics has been met with both intrigue and disdain. Whether his theories on the structure of DNA and its relation to frequencies hold water is subject to scientific scrutiny. Still, his abrupt descent from Hollywood raises eyebrows. It suggests a pattern where celebrities who diverge from their expected roles and advocate for radical ideas quickly find themselves ostracized. The pattern is disturbingly familiar, from Wilhelm Reich, who claimed his orgone energy discoveries could tackle diseases and was subsequently jailed, to more current figures like Dr. Judy Mikovits, whose controversial views on vaccines and virology have been staunchly opposed by the scientific community. These individuals often face a dichotomy. Either they are pioneers ahead of their time, or they are outliers whose theories simply do not align with empirical evidence. The issue at hand is not always about the validity of their claims, but the response they elicit. Society's discomfort with challenging the status quo often leads to the dismissal of ideas that deviate from the mainstream narrative. Is this a self-protective response from established institutions, or is it a mechanism that ultimately hinders progress by stifling innovation? Media's role in sculpting public consciousness cannot be understated, particularly when it intersects with health and science. Television and media, in their selective coverage, hold the reins on whether innovative ideas like the impact of frequencies on health are allowed into the mainstream or relegated to obscurity. The scant mainstream discussion of frequency therapies, despite historical and cultural precedents, points to a possible reluctance to explore paths that might disrupt established industries. The question then arises, are we neglecting potential breakthroughs because they don't fit into the profit models of powerful entities? Moreover, the mockery or sensationalism that often greets these ideas in the media can undermine serious discourse and deter public interest. It creates an environment where only the already convinced seek out and engage with these theories, thereby preventing a broader dialogue. The intersection of sound and health is an intriguing area of study, one that is increasingly supported by empirical science. It's not merely about soothing melodies or the calming effect of a gentle voice, it's about measurable vibrations that interact with our biology in profound ways. Clinical studies offer a window into this world of therapeutic frequencies. For instance, sound therapy has been found to lower blood pressure and reduce migraine headache symptoms. In hospitals, the implementation of music therapy programs demonstrates marked improvements in patient recovery rates and pain management. The data is compelling. Certain frequencies can encourage the release of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, and growth hormones, which are vital for repair and healing. This convergence of data and ancient practice becomes even more apparent when examining the use of high-intensity focused ultrasound in modern medicine. This technique employs sound waves to target tissue, such as tumors, effectively treating without incision. Similarly, transcranial magnetic stimulation uses magnetic fields to induce small electric currents in specific brain regions, treating depression with remarkable success. While not sound directly, it is another form of frequency application showing tangible, positive results in the human body. Turning to the psychological impacts of sound, specific frequencies and rhythms have been shown to evoke various emotional responses. In one study, participants exposed to 528 Hz sound waves reported more relaxation, joy, and creativity. This love frequency is believed to resonate at the heart of everything, connecting our spiritual essence to our material existence. While sound's healing potential is being harnessed for good, its darker applications lurk in the realm of control and manipulation. Sonic weapons, like long-range acoustic devices, can cause disorientation and pain, leveraging frequencies to maintain order or disperse crowds. But beyond these overt applications, there is a subtler form of auditory influence that permeates our daily lives. The concept of using sound to induce a state of fear is not new. Infrasound, at frequencies just below the range of human hearing, can create feelings of unease or discomfort. This principle is employed in various technologies, from the design of sound effects in horror movies to potentially less benign applications. News broadcasts and radio shows are often underscored with specific tones that may subtly influence the listener's emotional state. It's not just the content that can create anxiety or fear, it's the delivery mechanism itself. Fast-paced, high-pitched tones can create a sense of urgency or stress, while lower, drawn-out notes might induce a state of solemnity or concern. The power of this is not to be underestimated, as it can shape public consciousness and potentially manipulate societal responses to events and policies. The ethical implications of such uses of sound are immense. While we know that sound can heal, comfort, and restore, if misused, it has the potential to control or instigate distress. As we further understand the full capabilities of frequencies on our physiology and psychology, we must navigate the fine line between beneficial and harmful applications. The key will be in informed consent and ethical oversight, ensuring that the power of sound is respected and used for the collective good. The significance of self-education in this realm cannot be overstated. It is imperative for each of us to delve beyond the surface, to actively engage with the research, and to explore the science for ourselves. In an era where information is at our fingertips, yet so often filtered through a lens of corporate or political agendas, personal inquiry becomes a tool of empowerment. By seeking out these studies, engaging with the data, and questioning the narratives presented to us, we take control of our own understanding and, in turn, our health and well-being. As we navigate this landscape of sound and frequency, it's worth remembering that the marvels of modern science are echoes of ancient wisdom. Cultures across the globe have long turned to the vibrations of the earth and the harmonies of the cosmos, seeking connection and healing. In this, perhaps we see the hand of the divine, a tapestry of natural remedies woven with intricate care, awaiting our recognition and respect. God, in His greatness, has indeed left us many tools to enrich our existence. Sound, with its capacity to reach deep within the fabric of our being, is one such gift. Whether it's the soothing hum of a mother's lullaby or the precise frequency that disrupts a cancerous cell, the spectrum of sound's potential is as broad as it is profound. But to harness these tools, we must first acknowledge their existence and then have the courage to explore their applications. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. In being open to the unconventional, in challenging the status quo, and in seeking the truth with earnest intent, we invite new possibilities into our lives. We may not hear these truths broadcasted between the latest pop songs or discussed during primetime TV, but their whispers are there, between the lines of published studies and in the shared experiences of those who have dared to step beyond the conventional path. In closing, let us take these whispers, these fragments of forgotten knowledge, and assemble them with both skepticism and hope. Let the tools left for us be handled with wisdom, and let us not be daunted by the silence of the mainstream. For in our quest for understanding, we might just discover the frequencies that resonate with our deepest potential, harmonies that can tune not only our health, but the very essence of our lives.
Baby, I'll take it while I'm pregnant. Stupid stuff like that, right? So you look at that, man, you say, well, why was these people so easily deceived? Why was this stuff like that? What happened in centuries before? You know, And if there was races of opinions, like it was, let's say this whole world was populated, that's why I say, I showed you those videos where you had the empty cities and stuff, you had these big ass buildings and stuff. You're like, well, how they build all that? Where are all the people at? Right? So if they did wipe out whole races, if they don't put it in the Bible, do you accept it as true or to actually happen? You know what I'm saying? So like say like they wiped out a certain amount of people. If it ain't in the Bible, you don't accept it as happening. But at the end of the day, a man still wrote the Bible, and a man still decided what was going to be in there and what wasn't. So if they did wipe out a whole race of beings before and over again, if they did that, would you know about it? If they use these different control mechanisms to rewrite life on this planet, would you know about it? Oh, I get it. You wouldn't know about it, right? Why? Because it ain't written in the Bible, so you don't accept it. It ain't written in these history books either. See what I'm saying? That's how you gotta look at it, man. It's not written in the history books. It's not written in the Bible, so that means it did not occur. His story, not yours, not ours. His. And if you like it's like cattle and stuff now, they don't know they're being depopulated. Cattle and shoot dogs, animals, like you said, you go get your cat neutered and stuff like that. They don't know what they're doing. You put these control mechanisms on them, these monitoring systems and stuff. They don't know that they being monitored and stuff. Right? Why? Because we run them. We control them. So what happens when we got something that's controlling us, that's doing stuff to us? We don't know this certain technology's been putting us to make sure that we die at a certain age. We don't know that certain things been implemented to make sure that we can't think outside the box, we can't connect, we can't rebel against the system. We don't know certain things been put in place. You're not supposed to. You're not at the top of the food chain. You're not given to the level of intellect that you think that you are. Like I said, they're the ones that decide what's a high IQ. To them, I might have a low IQ. I might have a high IQ, a dangerous level of IQ that they like, yo, we gotta shut him up. He talking too much, he knows too much. He leading people to some stuff we don't want them to know about. Yo, who is this net guy? Let's just shut his channel down. Let's monitor him on every platform to make sure he's only reaching this certain amount of people, because he was reaching way too many people. He's a threat. That's a problem. You see what I mean? That's what you gotta look at, man. Like I told y'all, the gatekeepers and stuff like that, man, and stuff been put in place to make sure that y'all don't get the information that y'all supposed to get. And I know that firsthand and foremost because I've been dealing with it. And I know the stuff that I told y'all, all the stuff came to fruition. So, but I continue to be shadow banned. Continue to be in the shadows, right? What do you attribute that to? Why? Because I'm a threat. They don't want y'all being no threat. The more people that's woke, more people knows what's going on, man, the more people get on the right track and avoid some of the pitfalls that they doing. So, anywho, guys, this video has been long enough. I just wanted to get out here and kind of hit on that because I started to a while back, man, but I was like, you know what, nah, I'm going to sit back because we was on some other stuff at the time. But I feel like it's necessary. I feel like people need to, hey, use your mind, man. Think for yourself. I said, God made you in the likeness of him. I've heard people saying, well, we're not supposed to access our pineal gland. Why God give it to you? Why is the devil and the evil ones trying to keep it from you? Why? Because if you can't connect, then you can be controlled. That's simple, man. And if we fluoridate your mind enough, you won't know what to do. You won't be able to think for yourself. Then you can be controlled. Why are they putting this stuff in your food? Why are they putting this stuff in your water and stuff? Why? So you can be controlled. So they can control your life. Control your life and control your health, all that stuff, man. Everything that they've been implementing is to do one of those two things. May look at like, oh, sounds crazy, I know, but at the end of the day, is that not what we see? from every angle, is control. And then, like I said, as soon as you get the right information and stuff that you're supposed to get, you start to realize what's really happening out here. They start blocking it. So yeah, guys. Anywho, I'm not gonna put too much more into this, man. I think I got some clips and stuff that I had to play for you guys. Outside of that, remember, for the month of December, man, for the next 2 weeks, we will do the 25% off up until the 20th, okay, for the detox shop. And after the 20th, it will be down to 20% on up until January 1st. The code NEWU, NEWU. All right, put that in at the checkout for coupons, basically. All right. So, anywho, guys, hope everybody's doing well, man. Like I said, I'm gonna be real strategic on how I place the videos. You might see a lot more of these derailment videos or detour videos because the strikes that we have on the channel, man. A couple of them drop off in January, which is gonna be great. But in the meantime, man, we just gotta tread lightly. So, y'all be safe, man. I will catch you on the next video.
whispering.